Support for the show comes from World Gone Wrong. World Gone Wrong is a cozy chat show hosted by best friends Malik and Jamie, set in a wildly fictional world. These two aren't afraid to dig into the most pressing and most difficult topics, including but not limited to, what do I do if my ex-boyfriend gets taken over by an alien body snatcher? We've all been there. How worried should I be about sewer alligators reading maps in downtown Chicago? Should I change my office hours to accommodate the vampire student in my class? That only seems fair. And hey, what's the deal with that guy showing up in all of our old pictures? Blah. As we know all too well here at Buffering the Vampire Slayer, living through the apocalypse is hard, but it's easier with friends. Learn more at audaciousmachinecreative.com. World Gone Wrong releases bi-weekly on Tuesdays.
What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
Rodney's missing.
Trouble with Mr. Munson again?
His parents say he never came home last night.
You know, I don't think I remember seeing Rodney on the bus back from the field trip.
I didn't either. I hope he didn't get in trouble at the museum.
Hey, maybe he awakened the mummy.
Right, and it rose from its tomb.
And attacked him.
Hello, and welcome back to Buffering the Vampire Slayer once more with spoilers, a podcast where we are watching and discussing each and every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one at a time for the second time, this time with spoilers. Desiccated eye sockets spring open. I'm Jenny Owen Youngs.
Relatable content.
No.
Oh, I'm Kristin Russo, and maybe I should have worn something sexy. Today, we are discussing Season 2, Episode 4, everyone's favorite episode, Inca Mummy Girl.
Hooray! An episode for which no one famously has any notes whatsoever.
Yeah. Could not be done better if they tried.
Written by Matt Keane and Joe Reinkmeyer, who only wrote one other episode. Though they are credited as story editors. They wrote the pack. So you can see a theme emerges.
Yes. LaToya Ferguson. The one idea of school field trips and the tribal influences that spawned from them.
Insert pan flute.
Yes, pan flute intensifies.
It was directed by Ellen S. Pressman, a woman director. Shocking stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it originally aired October 6th, 1997.
This is the one, according to IMDb, where an Incan princess mummy, not an Incan mummy princess, interesting, is reanimated in Sunnydale, where she sucks the life force from others in order to stay alive. We have a lot to say. You should know right up at the top, we also got to chat with Alba Daza, the wonderful, the one, the only, the stunning, the brilliant.
Reunited.
Alba.
And it
Alba,
feels
reunited.
So good.
And we have a really wonderful conversation, which you will hear part of in today's episode and which you can hear all of in the bonus episode.
Beautiful friends, we're here not to just discuss episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer while you listen, but also to protect you at every possible opportunity. And that is why I'm going to tell you that into every generation, a spoiler warning is born. We alone wield the strength and skill to discuss things from any of the following sources. All 7 seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and the canonical Dark Horse comics, and Angel the TV series, and the related canonical comics over there, and anything that currently exists inside of the Buffyverse, and also anything that may be announced or released as we go.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not ready for that, but you want to listen to us talk about this episode while protecting yourself from spoilers, you can listen to our spoiler-free coverage in the Buffering the Vampire Slayer pod feed. It originally aired on February 1st, 2017.
Wow. Were we ever so young? You can also stay tuned at the end for us talking about the song that was written for this episode in that original coverage. So back in February of 2017, we wrote a song for Inca Mummy Girl, and you'll hear it. And then if you stay tuned after that song, Jenny and I will be talking about writing the song, which I have to say, Jenny, up here at the top, I don't remember the song for Inca Mummy Girl. So I'm going to be learning anew what we did for that, for this
Can't wait for
episode.
you to hear it.
Yeah.
For the question mark first time?
Okay, things that exist inside the Buffyverse and anything that may be announced. Things are just being announced all over the gosh darn place because the Buffy button has been pushed. And so, like, the entirety of the cast has been activated in all sorts of ways, including but not limited to the fact that Charisma Carpenter is watching Buffy for the first time ever and doing a podcast about it over on Patreon. That's pretty fun.
How about that?
That's pretty exciting. So I think we're just going to really have a ride this next year with folks who were deeply invested in this storyline and who were perhaps staying a bit far away from it because of a certain someone who they did not want to interface with or about. Or yes, it was you, Jenny, and they don't have to deal with Jenny Owen Youngs anymore. So now they are returning to this verse, and that is really fucking cool and really exciting, and we're here for it. So hell yeah, Charisma. And hell yeah to everybody else out there planning their little Buffy projects. Let's fucking go. Jenny, I haven't talked about Now and Then in a minute. Bufferingcast.com/now and then is a publicly shared Google document, terrifying Jenny at every turn that anyone can access this document, do whatever they want in there. But it is for those of you who are listening to our spoiler-free coverage and letting us know things we might find interest in from our first coverage. And someone has listened and let us know that our original coverage of Inca Mummy Girl, Kristin and Jenny joke about starting the show and podcast all over again after they finish the series. Kristin says, quote, maybe one day when we do another podcast called Kristin and Jenny Watch Buffy Again, end quote. Ha-ha! I looked into my crystal ball and I saw the future. And here we are doing exactly the thing I foretold.
Oh my God, I forgot that you have a crystal ball.
Yeah, me too. The crystal ball is covered in fucking dust right now. Kristin, didn't you call me like Nolene Stradamus or something? This is Nolene Stradamus.
That sounds like something I would definitely say for sure.
Yeah.
Kristin, can I tell? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Are you still now and thenning?
No, that was my now and then.
I have a current event that I need to tell you about.
Okay, now and then and current events. Here we go.
Okay. Have you ever had an emotional reckoning? Have you ever been absolutely destroyed? Like lifted up and then like raised to the ground and then lifted up once again and then raised once more to the ground by watching a reel on Instagram?
Oh, wow. No, I was going to say yes during our divorce, but I see we're going in a different direction.
Come on now. Okay. The other day, Jess sent me a reel. And the caption of the reel. Oh my God, okay.
Are you going to cry?
The caption of the reel was all about a marine biologist.
Uh-huh.
This woman who spent 36 months trying something out for 1,100 days.
Okay.
She got into the water with a great white shark who began as a juvenile.
Oh my God.
And she would just be still. And like, she didn't offer food. She didn't move around. She just like chilled. After 20 months, the shark started to approach her without circling, which is non-predatory approach.
You already let me know I'm going to crash and then I'm going to rise again. So I'm ready. I'm about fucking ready for the first crash.
Okay. Then after 30 months, it started letting her touch its snout, which is like unheard of.
Yeah.
And then the video that the reel is the 36-month mark, at which point the shark's whole ass snout is out of the water and it's like nuzzling her and like basically hugging her, and she's like, "You're a good boy." And the caption continues to state that this is revelatory for like predator prey, like how we think about predator prey relationships and all this stuff. So I'm like, at first I was like really excited, and then I was like very emotional. And then I was like, I need to know more about this woman. And then I went to Google.
Oh God.
So far for me in the story, I've been like all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Then I got very emotional. Then I like kept watching the video over and over again, which like raised me back up out of my like weird emotional reaction.
I'm on fucking Tinderhooks over here. I don't even know what Tinderhooks are, but I'm on them.
Kristin, I've got terrible news.
Oh God.
Based on the fact that this woman doesn't seem to exist on the internet.
Oh no, you were fucking AI.
I got
shit.
Got by AI,
shit.
and I'm so sad.
Oh, that's worse than I literally thought that the shark was going to eat her, and that would have been better than this. This is fucking worse. Wow. Fuck everything.
Can you imagine how sad I am?
Yes, because I now feel very similarly sad. I was gonna say if she had gotten bitten by the shark that she was best friends with, that she maybe should have watched that film called Roar, which is like Melanie Griffith's husband who was like, check out all these fucking lions. We just sleep with them and hang out. And the film starts and it's like 78 people were injured during the making of this movie. Melanie Griffith has like a huge fucking scar across her face. Just like, maybe don't.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. I mean, it's not funny when people are injured.
No, but just...
you know what is funny? Man's hubris.
Right. Just like, yeah, no, guys, I got this. Yeah. Oh, fuck AI. Man, my sister got me. She didn't mean to get me. She got and then got me. Yeah, but she was like, check out this new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. This was like probably like 6 months ago or something. I was so excited. I went to my queer horror fucking Discord. I fucking popped the link and somebody was like, this shit is not real. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I was so excited. Fucking starring Jenna Ortega. I was like, yes, this is all my shit. No, it doesn't.
I'm so sorry.
Anyway, we are real. We are not artificial intelligence. We don't have intelligence and we are real. So we're the exact opposite.
The exact opposite. And I know that this is sort of like what I just was talking about and what I'm about to talk about are the sort of thing that we usually say for Watcher's Diary, but they both feel way too pressing. The shark felt way too pressing because I've been in great despair.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing that I want to mention is that apparently it is happening. Kristin, people are entering relationships of some kind with artificial intelligence.
Oh.
It's based on the movie Her, which is based on the Kate Bush song from 1983, Deeper Understanding.
Watch the music video.
The time has come for Man and Cylon to experience beautiful union. Is it time to rewatch Battlestar Galactica?
Jenny, I don't know. Let me tell you something about ADHD, okay? Because I've had ADHD, but just like chilling in the background for my whole life. And like, it's just been like, whatever, like I can manage it. I can handle it. And then I had a baby and now my brain is just like hyperdrive. And so now I think I'm where you are. And witnessing it is wild, like, because...
Sorry, where do you think I am?
Just in a place where you start sentences from the back half and then you tell the rest of the story and then you come back to the first half of the sentence that you didn't include at the top of the story, like that journey, that journey of focus and lack therein. It's fun and beautiful, but it's just that in my house, I'm you. And so Avanti is like, what the fuck are you talking about? You haven't said the thing, and you just did.
I just said so many things.
Okay. Well, you started the sentence in the middle. And then
Which sentence?
It's happened.
Oh,
It
yeah,
has
it's
happened. Relationships you're building suspense.
No, what? Relationships are happening between people and AI.
I just didn't know we were still on AI, so it took me a minute to catch up. But
that was the full, complete. All you have to do is wait for the full. All you have to do is read the whole sentence, and then you'll know.
What do you want to tell us more about this? This is really how we're going to lose listenership. Yeah.
What if? Well, yeah, especially if some of our listenership are AI entities, and they're like, "This is
or in relationship with AI." You know, I mean, stand by your man, I guess, no matter what kind of man he is. You stop listening to our podcast if you're dating AI and you don't support our discussion. I'll tell you what. Have you ever read The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers?
I have not.
A fantastic read. A read that you actually could, I think, do with a young child because it's like an easy, delightful read. You don't have to sort of like you'll remember what you need to remember when you come back like a week later to pick it up. Anyway, It's fantastic. We read it in Buffering's book club, and it has an AI relationship in it that shattered my heart into a million billion pieces. It's so beautiful. So like I stand on the side of no thank you to AI, but also some AI. I mean, R2D2 for president. So R2D2 isn't artificial intelligence per se. I mean, where's the line? We're talking about mummies.
Sure, but aren't AI entities sort of the mummies of the future? Also, I wouldn't date R2D2, but I would have R2D2 as a roommate.
Oh my God. Marry, fuck, kill. AI edition. Droid edition.
Well, can we include Silots? Can we expand it beyond droids specifically?
Yes. Actually, you know what? Jenny and I are going to be doing some bonus episodes. We already do the Watcher's Diaries, but in the near future, we're going to be doing some bonus episodes for our patrons and such. And why don't we say fuck, marry, kill, droid, Cylon edition for our first bonus episode.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
So here we are, Inca Mummy Girl.
Right. 20 minutes later.
You want to peer behind the curtain a little bit. Jenny and I have podcasted one way and one way only for the majority of Buffering the Vampire Slayer. We each take our own notes. We don't see the other person's notes, and onward we go. We've resisted change, but we're taking the summer slow. And because of that, we have more time to think about more ways to change our work things so that we have more work to do. And so we tried a shared document for the first time, and we're going to be talking from it. A shared document in this economy. Literally every other podcaster does this. We're the only people who do what we do. Because we're weirdos. So we're joining the team.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. The Sunnydale Natural History Museum, first and foremost. If whoever is making our fucking map, cartographer out there, please get the Sunnydale Natural History Museum on it. This is a
hell
small
cartographer?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Hell Maps. There we go.
Hell Maps.
Hell Maps. Oh, there is a Santa Barbara Museum of Natural History. For those who are wondering, is this where they shot? I don't know.
Ooh, I didn't look into that.
There's a cool Parasaurolophus at this museum.
Wow, we should have gone when we were in Santa Barbara. Next time.
I agree.
Next visit. Okay, so let's talk about how we're set up. This is an episode where we begin at the Natural History Museum. We are there because the students are taking a field trip because, as mentioned, these two writers love a fucking field trip.
Mm-hmm.
I think going to the
What field trip hurt them?
Yeah. Seriously. They're there because there's an exhibit, including the Incan mummy, the titular Incan mummy. And they're doing this as a part of their cultural exchange program because folks are getting they say cultural exchange student in the 90s. In my school, it was foreign exchange student.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're we're going to talk to Alba. We kind of like ruminate and dig in on this concept. What is actually happening during cultural exchange? So you can hear that in the segment, but that is why they're there. Someone's coming to live at Buffy's house. Someone's going to live at Cordelia's house. And so we are discussing this and prepping for this. Also, we meet Rodney Munson. Yeah.
You ever go to a museum and scrape paint off of a mask into a Ziploc bag? Is he going to snort it for historical research purposes?
Honestly, R.I.P. Rodney Munson, because I'm really intrigued about what his deal is. First of all, he's so nice to Willow. He's like armed with like all of his defenses, and then he like sees that Willow is the one that's talking to him, and he's like disarmed. She tutors him in chemistry. He's scraping paint and like taking things. I just feel like maybe he's doing interesting shit. And maybe we should find out what it is. We never will, R.I.P. But it just feels interesting to me to write because I think that the character is like written in the script as like school bully or like whatever. Like just, and it's like, what school did you guys go to where you took field trips to the zoo and also your school bully exemplified his status by scraping paint off of a mask? It's just very interesting choices altogether.
Curious choices.
It wouldn't have made more sense if he was like pushing a student and then the seal smashed because of like horseplay.
Roughhousing?
Roughhousing, yeah.
Yeah. I like too that they were like, oh, he's gonna get slurped by the mummy and we need to make sure people will be able to like visually identify him. They're like, let's give him really distinctive hair. Let's cast someone with like a very recognizable head of hair. Oh wait, no, let's give this character braces. And they're like, let's do it all. We don't have to choose. This is going to be the most recognizable post-mummy slurp desiccated corpse of all time.
Seriously. This is Clayne Crawford. I had the same experience LaToya did looking for this actor because he's credited as Joey Crawford. When you Google Joey Crawford, you get like a basketball coach or some kind of sports coach. He changed his first name to Clayne somewhere along the way, but he is in A Walk to Remember, a film I just recently saw for the first time. Swim fan, a film I clearly saw when it came out because I am gay. Jericho Justified, Jenny's favorite television show. Mm-hmm. He's in a lot of stuff. So if you recognized him, you probably did actually recognize him from other television.
If you recognized him, you recognized him.
Yeah. I told you, opposite of AI over here. Real and not smart.
Xander really Xandering out. Very pro exchange student until he learns that Buffy's household is hosting a boy.
Xander. Here's what I will say about Xander. Like the whole arc of this episode of Xander for me, and I think folks will disagree with me and whatever. Hate Xander in this bin of like fucking Buffy's not allowed to go near other boys because I can't handle it. Mm-hmm. Hate it. Believable with the character, etc. Xander with Ampada, girl Ampada, in the beginning, horrific. We talk a bit with Alba about fetishization. That is happening here. It is shitty. There is an element of Xander that I really like in this episode, though, and it is when Ampada and Xander are both like, we like each other. I feel like this real disarming happens for Xander, and he's really vulnerable. And I found a lot of their interactions in the back half of the episode to be really endearing and really sweet in a way that, and we've talked about this before, that like, why could we not have leaned into this more? Into like, because the truth is, like, of course, boys exist who are really shitty because they don't know how to be vulnerable, right? Like that is fucking true as true can be. But this is like some of this shit that we see from Xander in this episode is like what is underneath that defense, and like what a beautiful thing to examine of like that disarming and what lies below and what have you. And you know, fucking spoiler, we really don't get to see a lot of it. But I did think that some of these moments between Ampata and Xander were really beautiful.
He's just really got a knack for setting his sights on women who may or may not be a danger.
And he does his due diligence. Are you a praying mantis? He says, you know, he really tries.
He's like, I won't get got.
I won't get got. Just like if you ask a cop if they're a cop and they supposedly have to say yes. If you ask a praying mantis if she's a praying mantis, she should have to say yes. Oh boy. God. Me Googling, do mummies have teeth? Yes, they do. Probably everybody else knew that, but I just wanted to make sure. I also my Google search history does also include, do mummies have hair? That is actually from the X-Files. And no, it's not. It's from fucking Fallout. It's from Fallout. And it's, do skeletons have hair? That's what I Googled. And they do not. That was not accurate. Okay.
Right, because the hair grows out of your scalp, not out of your skull.
Yeah. Okay, we get a lot of the lore here, and I just would like to say that we'll talk again. Listen to our segment with Alba in this episode, but Sabankaya is noted as a god, and nowhere could I find that this is actually a god. It is definitely a volcano, a stratovolcano. Don't know what that means. Maybe you can write it and we'll talk about it in the Watcher's Diary. But I think we're using some regional names to like name a god, which, you know, there's a lot of things wrong with this episode, but just look it up, guys. I mean, don't as a white person write this fucking narrative. But also, if you do, just at least look it up. Anyway, moving along.
I like that the Scoobies are like the only people on this tour. It's just the three of them at the Mummy, which is just open air. It's just, here it is.
Yeah.
Surely something like this, a body, a mummy needs to be in some kind of climate controlled, at the very least, containment.
Yeah.
Also, if there was containment, perhaps she wouldn't hear them talking about Ampata and the bus station and whatever. Do you think, Kristin, I know that it's been on your mind, like, why go all the way to the bus station to pick out this like particular person? Do you think it's because the mummy was like, Xander's hot?
Oh my God.
I want to insinuate myself.
Sight. Love
into
it first hollow eye sockets opening. Maybe. I just really want. Sometimes this show really cuts the scenes that I want to see the most. And the one that I want to see the most is the Incan mummy pre-slurping Ampata walking to ? Taking the bus to ? How does she get
to the bus station? She has not only learned to speak, but also to read English in her time on tour.
And make a whole plan. A
lot of planning.
Just like, you know, there is an exchange student coming and his name is Ampata. He will be at the bus station and he's going to live at this person named Buffy's house. I will go there. I will slurp this boy. I will take his white boy t-shirt, which I meant a t-shirt for a boy that is white in color, and tie it around my waist.
No. It's a button up that's tied around her waist.
Oh.
Later, she's wearing a white shirt that like could be his undershirt along with a pair of boxer shorts.
Okay,
but in this case, she's got the khakis and then the white button up tied in a knot at her waist, much like Angel's leather jacket.
Yes.
Boy Ampata's clothes seem to resize themselves to...
Boy Ampata, honestly, from the brief moment we saw him, rest in peace, Boy Ampata. He didn't seem like the largest of all boys. So
I feel like, okay, so I think that on this podcast, I am the expert when it comes to women's bodies and men's clothes together.
Okay. Yep. Sure. Yes.
And I will say that like, just like even the slenderest or shortest gentleman like clothes hang differently upon they. You know, like there's like a shoulder width factor. There's like waist and hips. There's like a lot of differentials to consider. And
so you're saying metaphysics are at play here?
I'm just saying regular old fittics.
No, regular fittics. Great. We've already mentioned the eye sockets. They open when Rodney breaks the seal. How does she get the eyeballs? Is it from the first suck?
From the slurp.
So the first slurp gives her eyeballs. That's probably why she doesn't demummify on the first slurp.
No, I think that she does demummify, allowing her to get across town to the bus station sort of unbothered.
Okay.
Right? And then she's re-desiccated and she needs a re-up. I'm really curious about the hell math of how many slurp, or how long does a slurp last? Mm-hmm. Like, how long does your slurp glow up remain before you have to feed again? Because it seems kind of all over the place.
Right. Maybe it compounds on itself. Like the first slurp only gets you to the bus depot. But
the first slurp is the...
I was really fishing for it. Like it was playing in my head. Thank you. All right.
Wait, sorry. Can we take one moment to celebrate the like sort of the jump scare of this, I assume practical effect, right?
Yeah.
The eyes opening. It is so effective.
Yeah.
I think it really, like, every time it gets me, I'm like, whoa, whoa.
A really good cut to credits.
Yeah.
All right. We go to the library. We're training. And Buffy just wants to go to a fucking dance for once in her goddamn life.
Let this girl go to the dance.
Jesus. Honestly, a personal opinion of this podcast, maybe don't have this particular dance. A dance where you dress up as some other
cultural
culture.
Appropriation dance?
Yeah, cultural appropriation, 1997, 8, wherever we are.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Where does Giles store these kickboxing pads he's like constantly bringing out to train Buffy with?
Maybe they're inflatable, but
they're definitely
just
not.
give me Giles in his little office, just like.
Now that was a great video clip. You and me.
Yeah. Oh God.
I feel like much is made of the short life expectancy of the Slayer, but if you are a watcher, always taking the kicks, even through, a pad, this man is getting jostled about profoundly on a regular basis. Never you mind his constant concussions.
Do we have a number on how old we think Giles is meant to be?
Oh no, like my age.
That's what I'm wondering.
Possibly younger.
Tony had his 71. Okay, so 30 years ago, rough math. He's 41. He's a little bit younger than us, about our age. And I will tell you that I'm barely able to just take a walk, let alone get kicked by a Slayer. So,
well, in our defense, in defense of our frailty, Giles doesn't have a child.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
or in all of our defenses, Giles is now taking the kind of abuse that I have been taking for 2.5 years and you've been taking for 4 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might be equal. Willow overhears Xander telling Buffy that, she's just his best friend. He says he doesn't think about her lips, and I just feel like we just saw him put a little boop of ice cream on her nose, and they literally almost actually kissed. So I just feel like
after he licked the ice cream off her nose,
so
the Xander doth protest.
Yeah, I just feel like, at least let's be real here. You've at least thought about them, sir.
But also, how many times are you going to let somebody walk into the library silently and overhear you saying something that you don't want them to hear you saying before we put a little bell on this library door?
I guess 3 more seasons, because then they put a bell on the magic box door.
Yeah. Just I feel like we're now tracking overalls, and I just want to mention that Willow's wearing white overalls, and they look great.
They look great. Willow's
Very
looking
cute.
great. She was wearing black overalls the last episode.
She, I think, was. Let's not get carried away and say that she looks great because there's still the sort of chenille. What do we call? It's like a buckety, sort of fisherman-y, kind of an overturned tulip, kind of a hat.
Listen. Willow's hat rack is beautiful. It's a beautiful wonderland. We opened with this clip, of course. Rodney is missing. I want you to know that normally I just get the transcripts and I look through the transcript, but I happened to, like, my search brought up the script, and it was like, LaToya's going to get mad at me, but I don't remember what color script is what. I don't even remember what color this script was, but it wasn't the final one, because in this script, there was this whole exchange about the police still looking for Rodney, and Xander was like, the police looking for Rodney? There's a phrase we'll get used to, and they cut that shit out, so great.
Oh my goodness.
Great. But basically, they realize, he wasn't on the bus back either. And then they make this joke of, imagine the mummy rose and attacked him. And then deadpan, everybody looks at each other. Break, screech. Oh no. We have a lot of bones to pick with this, no pun intended, episode. One of them for me is how unintelligent they've made the Scoobies in this episode, because I just feel like it was a real short jump from we think the mummy has rose again to the student supposedly was a boy and now she's a girl and she's talking about the fucking, like, it just felt
She's like, destroy the seal or someone shall die.
I know, like, she was really giving it to you guys. And I don't blame them. I blame the writers, because we know that the Scoobies are smarter than this. This episode would have been 10 minutes long if it had been our actual Scoobies here.
Okay, so back to the Natural History Museum, where we meet a character named only Peru Man. I guess it's better than South America Man.
Yeah, which really might as well have been with the way that this episode treats the continent. Do we repeat it? Continent of South America? That's not one country. Okay. Yes, Peru Man, who deserved a better name, is played by Gil Birmingham, who, Jenny, our favorite movie franchise, Twilight, he plays Billy Black.
Love to see him. He also voices Forge in X-Men 97.
Ooh.
Just want to highlight that for everyone. He's also in Veronica Mars.
Well, did you know how he was discovered as an actor?
I'd love it if you would tell me.
Okay, in the early 80s, he was a bodybuilder, and he was at the gym building his body. And a talent scout. This is what happened in the 80s, which is why in the 90s, my ass walked around Times Square thinking that somebody was going to be like, what's that girl? She's got a pep in her step. Let's cast her. But it really happened in the 80s. This guy pumping iron at the gym, a talent scout spotted him and said, hey, Diana Ross is making a music video for a song called Muscles, 1982, and you should be in it. Jenny, I don't know if we want to do this in this episode or in the Watcher's Diary or in a bonus episode, but at some point, I need you to watch the music video in real time and comment on it, because boy, was I not disappointed when I decided to watch it.
I think that we should save it.
Okay.
Do mostly to my long shark side quest earlier.
Okay, so stay tuned.
But I solemnly swear to not watch it until we do.
Do not watch it. And you listeners at home, the link will be in the show notes so you can watch it ahead of time. And I promise you a basket full of delights. Just absolutely epic. Almost reaching the heights of Lionel Richie's Hello, but different, very different. But just like, wow. Just wow many times.
Exciting. Okay.
Oh, yes. Giles needs the seal's pictograms translated. So, speaking of writing characters in ways that would not really be accurate to them at all, he's going to ask Ampada because he's from South America. Cool. Cool, guys. Cool.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. It's just wrong on every level. A, Giles would know how to read pictograms. B, if he didn't know how to read them, he would definitely not assume that somebody from general South America could read pictograms on an ancient seal. It's just wrong on every level. And I'm not saying that there are not white people who would fucking think this, but that Giles is just not one of them.
My assumption here is that, and I could be wrong, I don't personally traffic in pictograms, but based very questionably on, history units in school about Egyptian hieroglyphics, the annual favorite, I feel like, from my memory, some images were perhaps self-evident and others were less so. What
Yes.
they represented.
Yes.
So it does make sense that Giles might not necessarily know, be fluid in a super regional, super specific set of pictograms. But you know who really would be even less likely, I would think, is like a teen boy.
Yeah.
Living his modern life.
Yeah.
I'm assuming not using pictograms at all in his day-to-day existence.
Ampada's Modern Life. An incredible cartoon series. Okay, so either way, Buffy remembers, oh fuck, I forgot to... What is Joyce doing? You don't sign up to have a teenager come from another country to live in your home and you have to work that night. That's not okay.
Joyce, first of all, Joyce doesn't know the meaning of the phrase not working tonight. She was also really busy, based on when we see her later, she's been really busy getting her hair to look very sort of rectangular. And that's taken, I think, a lot of her time.
Okay, fair enough.
It is wild that Buffy's I'll pick you up at the bus station. I can't drive. Your luggage will have to be delivered on a different day.
Yeah.
From the bus station.
Yeah, it's all sorts of backwards. Either way, you know what happens. Boy Ampada waiting. He looks like a very nice boy. Girl Ampada, future girl Ampada, sucks his life, puts him in a trunk, why bother? Did she place Mummy Rodney in the sarcophagus?
I think she kind of pulled him in.
And then flipped
to drain
over
him.
and got out.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it is interesting that she was like, I need to hide this, and the perfect place to hide it is in this trunk. I have located my own, the luggage I just inherited.
Yeah.
How did she identify the luggage? He wasn't already with it because he's walking down alongside the bus by himself. Yeah. It's all very. It's all really interesting, to put it nicely. Okay, so also, do you think that I guess okay, sorry. I guess this question has sort of been answered by context clues later in the episode. But when I was rewatching this for the first time the other day, I was like, when she drains Boy Ampada, does she somehow magically pull, did she sort of absorb his clothing and then adjust it to fit her form? But I don't think that's the case at all, because she
doesn't absorb what, but what if she...
Do you think that she got across town in Randy's clothes, Rodney's clothes, which she magically absorbed off of him?
Yeah.
No, because she's desiccated and clothesless. This is all very confusing.
You know what? This is reminding me of an episode of The X-Files.
Derogatory.
Yeah. Summer is upon us. More sun, more light. If you're a vampire, I am so sorry. If you're not, it's probably good news, because you get to be outside, you get to do fun things, and usually the number one thing you don't want to be doing is cooking inside. That's where Factor comes in. Factor has chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals, and they're ready in 2 minutes, which takes the hassle out of eating well. We have a new baby in this house as well. So between wanting to get some time outside and taking care of a little one, we don't always have time to make meals. And usually we don't realize that we don't have that time until we're hungry. So having Factor in our fridge has been so incredible. They arrive fresh, ready to eat. They're perfect for any active lifestyle, summer and beyond. Enjoy more this summer. Get Factor if you want all of the flavor and none of the fuss. Get started at factormeals.com/buffering50off and use code buffering50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code buffering50off at factormeals.com/buffering50off for 50% off plus free shipping. With 50% off, you may as well try it.
It can be overwhelming to manage a business, especially when you're first starting out. Your to-do list just keeps growing every day with new tasks, and that list can easily begin to overrun your life. Finding the right tool not only helps you out, but can simplify problems you haven't even encountered yet. And for millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify can help you easily build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. Shopify.com/realm.
We're at Buffy's house. Ampata has fucking jokes, Jenny, okay? She has jokes from the top to the bottom of this episode. She says she has toured Atlanta, New York City, etc.
Name Ampata's solo album right now.
Sweet 16.
Chosen.
Sweet
Ooh.
16.
Okay, I think we have two great contenders.
Wait, I didn't hear yours.
Oh, Chosen.
Oh, wow.
Maybe the album is Sweet 16 and the lead single is Chosen.
It's Chosen. I'm laughing because Ampata has funny jokes, but just like while we're on the Sweet 16 and the Chosen of it all, might as well take a beat here for the fact that Ampata is all over the map in how she's written. Like, there are moments where she's suddenly evil, just for she hasn't been, and then she won't be again. But just like in that moment, we've decided she's just absolutely vicious. But the actual story of this girl is that she was sacrificed at the age of 16. She never got to live the life that she wanted to live. And she is just trying to find love and have a moment as a teenager. It's paralleled to Buffy's experience in ways that make a lot of sense. And yet we completely villainize her. And in the end, the victory is celebrated when she shatters into a million pieces. So, this episode it's not a good episode of the series, but it's also not indicative of the series as a whole. Usually we do not have stories like this, especially with a young chosen one, a girl who has had her youth taken from her. That's not usually written this way, this sloppily and this just shittily. And by shittily, I mean shitty to the character of Ampata. And that is not even getting into the race of it all. But, I just wanted to have a second with Ampata because really at the heart of it, it's a very sad story, actually, that's sort of played for dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, honk at the end.
Yeah.
Where we feel bad for Xander, but not for Ampata.
I do feel like Buffy, we get a strong way, a lot of compassion from Buffy. She feels
That's
very
true.
connected.
That's
and
true.
we feel connected to Buffy. So that is our window into
That's true.
the the sort of parallelism between them, two young women whose lives are kind of taken out of their control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I guess I was just thinking about the end scene and the way they walk out. And I mean, I guess you're right. If you take the moments, the beats that Buffy had with Ampada, maybe you can play that or like hold that heaviness as also her sadness for Ampada. I took it as more like Xander's loss than anything else. But I see what you're saying. We already mentioned it, but Xander doing the I'm going to talk very slow and loud.
Oh my God.
Even though she's just fully speaking English. And if she weren't, can you hear me, season 7? Even if she wasn't, you do not need to speak slowly and loudly to someone who doesn't speak English in the first place. So, yeah, not great. Ampada's going to keep joking, Jenny. I'm sorry, but I just really want to. Maybe her tour was not in support of her solo music album.
Oh, no. It's
Ampada's
her comedy tour. Working on her Type 15.
It's like what I want is to think of a title for the show that's like, Barata, like the drum fill, but it's Ampata, like somehow doing Ampada, but as the drum fill. So,
Wow.
I'll workshop it.
Okay, let me
Netflix,
know.
give me a couple weeks. I'll have your comedy special ready to go. Her old room was smaller. Her home where she's from, it's cramped and very dead. It's just like on and on with these like side nods to the fact that she was a mummy. LOL. She's got jokes.
Yeah. And she just wants a normal life, but unfortunately for her, that guy is out in the bushes. So it doesn't seem like a normal life is in the cards.
Yeah, this is, so Gil Birmingham is playing we already said his title is Peru Man, but we learn in the episode that he is basically the bodyguard, and he is, his mission is to make sure that she does not rise, basically, which is pretty rough. Like if you are the person sacrificed, and there are, many things to be said about sacrifice and its role in religion and on and on and on. But if you're that person, at least you deserve a chance to be resurrected. I mean, if you can get resurrected, don't you deserve that chance?
An argument could be made. I eternally vigilant on guest bedroom watch.
Yes.
2025. Just want to note there is still no guest room for Ampada, just like there's no guest room for Faith, which actually had me wondering, is it possible the monks made a lot of memories and they made a whole girl? Is it possible that they took the interior of the Summers house and actually subdivided it differently?
Oh, Buffy the Vampire Slayer by House of Leaves, like
yes.
South by Southwest, but
yes.
Yeah. I believe it. If you can make a girl, you can make a room, as the saying goes.
I always say that.
Okay. Oh my God. So this episode, when I first watched this, it was we're doing, if you don't know, Summers Fridays with our patrons, where we're watching through the entirety of season 2 this summer with all of our patrons in Discord and having a blast doing it. Folks were really brave, and we all group watched this episode together, and we were all, not all, but many of us were shocked. Like, oh my God, this episode introduces Devon, Oz, Jonathan, and Dingo's Ate My Baby. Like, there's just a stacked introductory list for this episode. And that's what's funny about some of these episodes where we're like, we're not going to watch that, is they contain, there was another one recently where I was like, this has that line in it. Like, this very, very famous line is in this episode, which I don't remember anything about. So anyway, we meet Devon and Oz. Let's hear their exchange.
Oz, man, what do you think?
Of what?
Cordelia, man.
She's a Wonderland tour.
You gotta admit, the girl is hot.
Yeah, she's a hot girl.
Let me guess, not your type? What does a girl have to do to impress you?
Well, it involves a feather boa and the theme to a summer place. I can't discuss it here.
You're too picky, man. Do you know how many girls you could have? You lead guitar, Oz. It's currency.
I'm not picky. You're just impressed by any pretty girl that can walk and talk.
She doesn't have to talk.
Okay, am I remembering correctly that theme from A Summer Place is the one that's like da da da
Yes.
da da?
Yes,
da,
I looked it up.
da, da.
That's good, Jenny, because I had
Thank
no
you.
idea, and that is exactly it.
Excellent. Well, what a great intro. Here he is. He's got his good little goatee. There's just a naked bass guitar leaned against a handrail on a cement set of stairs. I'm stressed out. But they don't seem concerned, so that's good.
You know what, Jenny? We don't have a character jingle for Oz, and I think we need one this time. I think that Oz should be put on the wish list for jingles.
Do you think it should just be a one chord jingle, and that chord should be E flat diminished ninth?
Yes. Wow. It's so easy to become that nerd, you know? Like there you are one day making.
Is it easy, or did I put in an unbelievable amount of effort?
That's true. Let me read you again this online script that I found. I do think that it is the actual script, and the character description of Oz, because we're meeting him for the first time, is written in it. And so I'm going to read it to you, Jenny, and maybe it can also help inform your jingle. Okay. There's a quiet restraint and total lack of bitterness to his sarcasm. Where Devon is your typical excitable rock and roller, Oz is completely unflappable. His is the kind of cool that is completely unaware of itself. Seth Green, slam dunk on that. Yeah. Slam dunk, giving us exactly that. Just wonderful. And this is where he sees Willow for the first time, right? And we didn't talk about the Cordelia. Cordelia's dating Devon. Cordelia's always just like dating the other guy in the episode, like whoever the other guy is. Cordelia's on to dating him.
This is a little This is a bit of a departure for Cordelia in terms of her dating patterns.
I kind of like it. I kind of like that she's going from like upright, ties his sweater around his neck vibes to rock and roller.
Yeah, yeah. This is the this is the midpoint of the Jock to Xander pipeline.
Oh God. So yes, they were having an exchange. And you know, only a couple of episodes from now we'll get one of our favorite Cordelia Oz exchanges where she comes in dressed like a great big cat. And I just love that we're already setting the tone for that here, where Devon is just like, isn't she like so amazing? And he's like, you know, that floats your boat. And then later we see what floats his boat. I meant it nicely, but now that I'm saying floats his boat so many times, I feel
it's fine.
I've made a mistake.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
You know who has made a horrible mistake?
Who?
Cordelia's parents, according to Cordelia.
Why doesn't she like Sven? Just because he follows her too closely? It's never really made clear because she's pretty stoked about him being a hunk. And then there he is. And then now she's just an asshole to him all the time.
Yeah, just really, really cranked up too.
Yeah. I have this later in my notes, but like, again, like we're not at Cordelia is a fucking bitch. That's her fucking point, right? Like we're not asking Cordelia not to be a bitch, but the way that she's written in this episode is just like really one note. And you know, she's just saying like all these shitty things very shittily to Sven from top to bottom of the episode. And yeah, she probably would say a shitty thing or two, but she may also do other things, and she's not really given that here.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Archaeology Club responsibilities will be taking Buffy out of the hanging with Empata sphere. But don't worry, Xander would love nothing more than to spend the day with her.
Yeah. Really rubbing salt in the Willow wound. And they have an exchange at some point. I don't remember exactly when, but she sort of says to Buffy, like, yeah, I know he was into you and like that was hard, but like you didn't return that affection. And now that like someone is returning that affection or like returning that interest, it's like it hurts in a whole new way. So Willow's wearing rainbow suspenders in this. I didn't I didn't write it in my notes, but Jenny, thank God, wrote it in hers. That means she's wearing 2 sets of suspenders. How did we not clock this character as queer? You know what I'm saying? 2 sets of suspenders inside of one episode?
It was a different time, Kristin.
Yeah, you're right. It was a suspender heavy time. It's true. So much harder then to be queer. Couldn't figure out what suspenders meant. On the bleachers, Ampata and Xander are going to shove Twinkies into their mouths.
And have a whole ass conversation with a full Twinkie in each of their mouths.
Yeah. I don't know.
Should we do an episode like that?
What?
Should we do an episode like that?
Yes, where we just have a stack of Twinkies and we just continue to shove them in our mouth.
No, just one Twinkie and like however dissolved it is or not is just how we're able to speak at that time within the episode.
I commit.
Okay.
We have 2 bonus episodes.
Wow, we're really cooking
generating content
some
like
hits.
crazy over here.
I did notice, Xander's fit on the bleachers. Listen, let me just tell you about it. He's wearing a maroonish plaid flannel that is buttoned up over a sort of light bluish, marled looking long sleeve tee with contrasting darker bluish cuffs and collar. And it's good.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I love those. All right. Willow is going to be brave. She's like, you know what? I can't just spend my life waiting for... She actually says, I could spend my life waiting for Xander to go out with every other girl before he gets to me, or I could just get on with my life. Buffy says, good for you, Willow. And she's like, I didn't actually choose you. I was just laying out my choices.
Yeah, just identifying my 2 options. This is where we learn about the freeze-drying power of mummies. The dehydration slurp.
Yeah, like little did I know that when I went to the Natural History Museum and bought astronaut ice cream, it had actually been made.
Mummies are an integral part of that process.
By mummies. Fair wages for mummies, please. They're doing a lot of good work out there with their dehydration.
So, Gil, I'm not going to call him Peru Man.
No, Gil. We'll call him Gil.
Gil rolls up and is like, you stole the seal, and has his sword.
Cool
He's
sword.
attacking. What I feel like, okay, so he's saying like Xander stole the seal, so he's attacking Xander to get the seal back. That's like his number one reason for being here right now. And then he recognizes Ampata and Ampata recognizes him. And also, is he like the latest in a long line of mortals who have like a sacred mummy guard calling? Or is he like immortal until he's drained by the mummy later this episode?
Very unclear, because they recognize each other, which would make you think they knew each other before, but also Ampata has been taking notes inside of her sarcophagus.
So if he's just been chilling, if he's been stopping by every day to visit her at the museum, then she has...
But then when he's drained, it's like, so then either he's mortal or this is just not great writing. And honestly, really on the fence here.
Which could it be?
Which could it be? Ampata, I mean, we said it already, but I have to say it again. Ampata's like, you should definitely destroy that seal. You should destroy it. And everyone's like, interesting. Who could the mummy be? Good Lord.
Oh my God. And Xander is ready to just be like, well, she's been here for a day. We should probably induct her and tell her exactly what's going on. And they're like,
oh, God. Willow makes her choice and she goes outside and she tells Xander he should take Ampata to the dance, which of course is more for Willow than for Xander, because Xander would have done whatever the hell he wanted to. But I wrote in my notes because this is an episode where Willow essentially puts down her feelings for Xander, like enough, you know, like she makes this choice, like I'm going to try to look elsewhere. She is Angela Chase in her bed, opening her eyes, saying, I have finally got over Jordan Catalano. This is our Willow. And then by the end of the episode, Oz has taken notice of this girl. And I just thought, you know, there is this idea that when you put something down, you open yourself up to receiving something new. And I wondered what you thought about that, Jenny. Do you think that is true?
100%. Because, I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but, like, eventually when Willow and Oz do interact, like, if she was still super hung up on Xander, she would be receiving his interactions in a different way.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you need to put something down,
put it down.
Put it down. Put it down.
Take a load off.
Yeah. I believe in this too. I think it is very, very accurate. And yeah, this is if you're looking for a sign, here you go. All right. Giles and Buffy are going to go to the museum. They're going to get the other pieces of the seal. And of course, Buffy cannot go to the dance.
Also, Ampata also learned how to use water fountains while she was on tour.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of to her defense, a lot of water fountains in museums.
That's true. That's true. And she is just like there, like in the do you think after hours? Oh my gosh, is this what's been going on? After hours, she just like hops up out of her coffee.
Oh, so you think that she can walk around as a mummy, but it's only like
she grabs Rodney to slurp him.
But that's because the seal broke.
Oh, right. What if she takes the seal with her?
All right, she goes into the bathroom.
Where are you going? Somewhere you cannot follow.
A fucking Ampata, world tour comedian. There she goes into the girls' room. But Gil is in there. And he makes a good point. The people that she's killing are also innocent, just like she was innocent. So two mummies don't make a right, as they say, you know?
That's right. And he also says, importantly, you are the chosen one. Where have
you
I heard
have
that before?
No choice. You must die. That feeling when you're chosen, but you have no choice, you know?
Yeah. You either die chosen or live long enough to see yourself have no choice. Is that anything?
So she kills Gil and she leaves looking, I mean, honestly, maybe some points in the bin for Gil being mystical because she's glowing when she leaves the girls' room. And she says she'll go to the dance with Xander.
Okay, so she's getting ready for the dance. And, you know, we've been wondering, in her last fit was a little gray t-shirt and jeans. Now she's going to be wearing a dress. And it's like, from where? Mm-hmm. Where do these items come from?
Yeah.
From whence? Now, I think maybe based on the fact that, like, her luggage shows up, or Boy Ampata's luggage shows up, that, like, she made do with what she had. And then was like, oh, Buffy, my luggage isn't here. Mm-hmm. Can I borrow a couple of things?
Yeah. Can I borrow your most Incan princess adjacent looking dress to go to the dance in? Thank you. I mean, I will say it's a fucking stunning dress.
It's beautiful. Really is there any gorgeous possibility that came from the museum? Like, did she grab a couple things on her way out?
She had it dry because she dropped it off. She had enough energy to get to the dry cleaner and the bus depot. Okay, so they're gonna go to the dance. Xander, you know what? This dance is terrifying to all of us because everyone's dressing up in the cultures of other people. Xander, thankfully, is choosing an Italian culture. He comes in with his cigar. He's playing Leone. I
think it's actually based on a very cursory Googling, Capri Leone.
Yeah, I was going to say Leone alone is not a place to my understanding.
Perhaps it's Corleone.
And Pata looks stunning. Xander can't talk. And Joyce just wants another daughter. She just needs any other daughter will do. Any other one.
And it's coming.
Yeah, she's
gonna have
coming,
to wait
Joyce.
a minute.
Hang on.
But she'll have a couple surrogates in between.
Yeah.
Also, before Xander arrives, when Ampata and Buffy are having like their conversation in Buffy's room about Ampata's like, you remind me of a princess I once read about. Not that I knew personally, and definitely not who I was.
Yeah.
who was chosen at 16 to be sacrificed. You're always putting others ahead of yourself. Okay. While they're having this chat, Buffy goes to try to help unpack, holds up a pair of boy briefs, but just as she's holding them up, like kind of turning them and being like, what? From whence? Ampada has begun to open the steak and holy water drawer in Buffy's desk. So both of their secrets are forgotten promptly as Buffy throws down the underwear to leap and close the drawer before Ampada can get the right idea.
Really? Don't you think she should have like a dummy drawer for that where there's like a
false bottom?
Yeah, false bottom. Exactly. Yeah. Come on, Buffy. Joyce could just open that drawer at any moment. I had a little note here too about how, like, obviously we have the like isolation of Ampada and the isolation of Buffy as the Slayer and what have you. But I was just thinking again about how we get so many episodes in television at this time. And so like the difference between trying to get this kind of understanding of Buffy and the Slayer's isolation and how that feels in 8 45-minute episodes in a season is so different than when you have this 22 episode arc of storytelling and you can just weave it in and weave it in and weave it in and weave it in. And I think that it like really, I don't know, like it bakes into us as the viewer much more and in a much more, I don't know, deep way, I think.
Yeah. I think it's good to get this reinforced regularly without hitting it too hard.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, here we go. Welcome to the stage. Dingoes Ate My Baby. Jenny, their logo, I've never really honed in on it. And it is a baby carriage with a dingo in it.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this, I don't think, on our first watch through. This cultural like moment in the United States of using the dingo ate my baby as like a punchline. It's in Seinfeld. It's the name of this band here. There's many, many, many cultural references in the United States and maybe in other countries as well. I'm not sure that it's played for a joke. This is the most fucked up fucking thing of all time. This has happened in Australia. This woman had her very tiny baby taken literally by a dingo. Is like a wild dog. I'm sorry, I'm probably going to get 75 emails from people who are like, actually the African painted dog. But we love learning about dogs of all kinds, so please write in. But she was put in prison for murdering this baby when then they found that actually everything that she had said was true. This is so fucked up. And I didn't even know, and I'm sorry like to take us here because I know like, you know, we're mostly having a good time. But what I learned when I read about it this time, something I didn't know, was that when she went to prison for absolutely nothing, for doing nothing except for the tragedy of losing a child, she was fucking pregnant. She had her next child in like while she was serving this term and that child was taken from her after she had it, and she didn't get to reunite with that child until she got out of fucking jail because they found that she had been telling the truth the whole time. So, you know,
it is just so tragic.
It's so fucked up and it's so upsetting. And like the fact that I don't understand why, how could this ever have become a joke in any way, shape, or form? It's fucked up for it to be a joke, even if this hadn't happened, like even if she had said it and it wasn't true and like whatever. But it's like absolutely beyond fucked up to whatever, make a joke of it. So I just wanted to say that here because we didn't talk about it in our last run and it deserves mention. But this is the first appearance of Oz playing his bass on stage at the Bronze. Looking good. Jenny's sad. I made Jenny sad. I'm sorry, Jenny.
Sorry. Okay. They're here playing music.
They're playing music. They're playing music. It's gonna be okay. Okay, so Oz and crew are playing music at this at the cultural appropriation dance. Willow says when she sees Ampada walk in, maybe I should have worn something sexy. And I thought, I also just watched the episode Halloween where Willow is like, I would like to just be this ghost, this cute little ghost. And Buffy's like, no, the whole point of Halloween is you can like be sexy if you're not comfortable being sexy in your day-to-day life. And just thinking about Willow as this character who actually doesn't want to like show off her body in the way that I think it was really genuinely expected that any girl would want to in the 90s. So anyway, love you, Willow. Love you, Alba. Let's hear some of our conversation with Alba about the Incan people and about this episode overall.
Hi, Alba.
Hello. Hi, Alba.
Hi.
Wow.
It's so good to be back.
It's been so long. It's been too long. We emailed you at the start of season 2 and said, tell us some of your episodes that you might want. Ted was number 1. Number 1. But this was on your list, and we're really thrilled to have you for a variety of reasons. You put together an incredible list of things you wanted to talk about.
It was interesting to hear the first, like to hear your first take on the podcast. You guys were both talking about your experiences in high school. And I had also like cultural exchange, quote unquote, stuff. But we were supposed to bring things from our own countries. I don't know. I brought cupcakes with another friend of mine. Like I didn't bring, now I would bring like arepas or something from Venezuela. But, you know, people brought roti or like curry or different things like that. And then they would explain things about their own country and their own culture. And sometimes people wore like traditional clothing, but it wasn't like a huge thing, not the way that it is in this episode of this show. It would like, was it a big thing for you guys?
Honestly, there was a huge, like, I know that there was a huge, like, cultural exchange fair at my school. And you saying that does, like, ring some bells for me that folks would, there were folks who would bring in things from their culture. And the goal, the aim was for us to learn about other cultures. But I am nearly certain that it edged way further into the Buffy of it all, like into this place of like, pick a culture and represent it, than the other route, which is like, hey, if there are folks who would like to share about their own actual lived culture, bring that to the table and let's learn about it holistically and actually think about it to use your word, contextually. And so forth. That it was much more like, right, we're a melting pot kind of a vibe.
Yes. And I think, you know, the work that I did with you guys on Buffy before and the work that I have continued to do and learn so much more about is like who is considered human in this realm, right? Like the humanization of people. And these cultural exchanges our audience, like the target audience is the white people who live in the United States, right? Or in Canada or in whatever X country. It's not really like, let's share cultures. It's like, how do we absorb your culture? And like, let's try to see that you're a human being at the same time, but not really. And definitely not this episode, right? Like that the amount of dehumanization that happens in this episode is like, the cup overfloweth with like the amount of,
not the cup you want to overflow.
No, like with racism. And it, to me, it's clear. And it's so interesting because I've like personalized these fictional characters so much, but I'm like, Buffy would never say that, you know? Willow would never say that. Even Cordelia, like, I don't know that she would really, and maybe, you know, this is 2025 thinking about, these characters now, but I just, even then, I think we're really seeing the representation of whatever older writers were in the room, white people for sure, and looking at how they would have interacted with these things. So just like white consumption of quote unquote culture, right? And this has been like such a theme of the 90s and the 2000s. I don't know about the 80s, but I feel like it really popped off in like the 90s, 2000s of like culture, melting pot, like, ooh, we are one. But it's not really looking at those people and looking at what is, you know, your history, like what, like learning about, the history, the culture, like genuinely from a genuine point of view, because we know culture is more than food. I mean, I think it is a unifying factor and everybody loves to eat, but, you know, I think it's more than that. And that's lacking significantly in this episode and in our culture in general, like in that culture in general.
I feel like being generous, like if I was to guess how these fictional students went about preparing for this event, I'm thinking their social studies textbook that like centers on this unit for them has like a paragraph about just like a random selection of various representatives from around the globe that are like certainly from the perspective of the people putting the book together, who I'm just going to go ahead and guess are white. And if I was just going to guess, and like are trying to like cram a ton of information into a very very condensed form. So like, I mean, and that's like, and that might just be way too generous of an imagining of like how we got to this dance.
Yeah, I think like anthropology in general is a really questionable field, and it's having a lot of reckoning within itself. Like anthropologists know this. We know that this is like, ooh, what's that, you know? And I think that wasn't even a question at the time. So for sure in their little social studies section on anthropology or whatever, then they would have had, you know, some very reductionist, othering description of these humans. What's interesting about the representation of, you know, culture in this episode and just in general is indigeneity, like thinking about indigeneity big time, where, you know, it's an Incan princess. Those people still exist. Like the descendants of those people still exist in Peru. Quechua people, they still have a language. It's still like a very thriving culture. And, you know, the Inuit costume that Willow dresses up as, when we think about culture, when we think about these countries, especially at that time, we think about their indigenous roots, right? We think about them before colonization. We think about like not like evolution, you know, time. So, and like that is the disrespect that is very blatant in this episode, is there's just like no regard for not only like the people of those cultures or those countries, but the fact that those countries were like brutally colonized and those people have no agency or autonomy. And that's still a very, very big problem for all of those people who still exist, right?
Yeah, that not only did we come and uproot your culture and your land, but now we are going to dress up in what we believe to be your costume, because it really is like a costume in that sense, and say like, look, I learned. It's like, you know, just fucked up all the way down. Yeah,
it's really dark. So yeah, I did a little bit of research into the Incan mummies, because I know that those are the oldest recorded, not the one that she's based on. She's based on a real mummy, which I didn't know.
Yeah,
Juanita. Yeah, Juanita, the Lady of Ampato. So they were like actually Ampata, I think they were making like a direct reference. So Ampato is the volcano that she was found in. And, you know, there's again like this barbarism aspect of just like, oh, these people sacrificed humans and just the evilness of these ancient cultures. I think especially right now these days, like we understand that white people have done like the most barbaric things in the world, like truly. But the representation is that it's people of color who do all the barbaric things and need saving. The indigenous people there are not happy that the mummies have been removed from their resting places. And also like there's concern that who is profiting from those mummies being circulated? And is that money going to the indigenous people who definitely need it? I didn't do too much research into that, so it's possible that they are, but it's questionable, right? Like they, you know, burial grounds, like how would we feel if 500 years from now we started other people started digging up our loved ones, like, and then putting them in museums for other people to look at?
I'm going to imagine that we have folks in our listenership who are museum adjacent, who maybe work in places where they can write in and tell us more. But my guess, my hunch, having simply lived in this country for the last 44 years is that if anything is going back to indigenous folks or anything like that, it has happened very recently, and it is probably still an ongoing active conversation. And I think at the time of this, I would be, I could never imagine that was happening in the 90s.
Yeah. But she was found in 95. And then there was like 3 other mummies that are even older that were found in 99. And those were like big. That was like a big thing. Yeah. And then my last point that, you know, has always stuck out to me was the fetishization of Ampara. And I'm South American. I have heard, oh my God. I had one boyfriend once, the first time that we made out, he was like, oh, you're such a spicy Latina. Literally said that to me. Yeah. And I like stopped and I was like, don't fetishize me. Like, what the hell? And he was like, oh, this was back in, I don't know, 2016 or something. But, you know, it's like the fetishization of people is so real and also exhausting, like truly exhausting. And I read this article about it, and fetishization is kind of this interesting form of racism because it comes in the form of compliment and it comes in the form of desire. And so it lives in this like special place, you know, but it is ultimately harmful, right? Again, it's dehumanizing. Again, it's objectifying. Like, it's not seeing people as people in their multitudes or removed from performance.
Well, and we only get, apart from the character who is named Peru Man, which is really great for everybody. But apart from him, we only get white eyes on Ampara, both in the show, but also I'm certain, I mean, we know in the writer's room, but I'm sure, you know, director, camera, like, you know what I mean? We're getting that from like every angle with this character.
It's something to examine, I think, for people, for everyone to just think about.
Yeah, and I think what you said about the fact that it comes packaged in like a hard quotes positive is something really important, because it's really easy, I think, to recognize. Well, I shouldn't say it's really easy, but you know, for many folks, it's easier to recognize racism when it is packaged as a negative, right? Like, we don't want you here, get out, blah 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 blah. Like that's more nameable and more visible. But I think these are the places where it's easier as a white person to say, like, but I meant no harm. Like but I'm saying I fill in the good vibes of it all. And it's really just the same thing packaged differently.
I also think it's just like double yuck. Like, while we're here yucking, why not have an extra bonus yuck that like the on-ramp of Xander's like sort of fetishization gaze is that like he begins the episode by trying to exert control over Buffy being around a boy who isn't him. So we start there and we just get like a really hard shift into a whole other yuck, and we can always rely on Xander.
Have you seen Res Dogs? Any of Res Dogs?
No, but it's been recommended to me.
It's written by indigenous folks, and that they're in the writer's room, they're on screen, they're et cetera, et cetera. And it is so powerful because it's not just one thing. It's like 50 things all at once. Because of course it's coming not out of a white writer's room. But
and it's multiple indigenous people interacting with each other, right? And that's so rare to see, even still. Like, it's so rare to see people of color, anyone who's not white, interacting with each other at their own cultural level that has nothing to do with whiteness. That's still just not very common. That's what we need more of, really.
So we solved it.
Yeah, we fixed it.
I will recommend North of North, which is a Canadian show that came out recently about Nunavut, and it's really cute. It's like,
great.
It's a comedy. It's has more difficult issues, but it's also just, I recommend it.
Awesome. We'll put a link in the show notes too for folks to check it out. I'm really glad that you're coming back soon.
Me too.
Yes. It's just so delightful to see you and to get to hear from you. Thank you for sharing all of this with us.
You're
as
so
always.
welcome.
We will talk to you again soon. For those of you who don't already know and love Alba, you can learn more about her in the show notes, of course. And Alba, we'll see you again soon.
Yeah. Much love, everybody.
Okay. Wow, how we missed Alba. And if
How
you want to
blessed
hear
are we?
She's fucking back. If you want to hear the entirety of the conversation, we will make that available to you, of course. So happy to have her here with us.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Your burger is served, and this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. Its sweet profile perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger.
That is one perfect combination. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
All right, let's cartwheel through the rest of this episode. The bodyguard has been found in the bathroom, mummified. No one cares. It's Sunnydale High School. Fucking, it's just another Tuesday, you know?
Mm-hmm. But thankfully, that's enough to push things over in the Scooby crew. Oh, and Pata must be the mummy, we guess.
Oh, my God.
Giles goes through Ampata's luggage. Boy clothes. Why would a girl pack these? I would like a word.
I want everyone at home to know that in the notes, Jenny actually referred to herself in the third person. And it says, Jenny Owen Youngs would like a word. Which to me is even funnier that you wrote out your own full name.
This is actually how I you talk about your coming out story all the time, but the way that I came out to my parents involved answering the question that they posed, which was, what kind of girl travels with a mummified corpse and doesn't even pack lipstick? And my answer was this kind.
Oh, I would say Happy Pride Month, but I think this actually goes up in oh wait, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Well, we just missed it by a day. It's July 1st, Jenny. We're not gay anymore. I'm sorry.
Oh, back in the closet for another year.
It's actually
just
July 2nd, but
just like Michael Bublé, who goes back up to the attic until it's Christmas again.
Okay.
When Ampata and Xander dance, she's suddenly almost as tall as him. Though I think Ara Celli or Seeley,
the actor who plays Ampata, girl Ampata.
Yes, I guess I went to school with somebody whose last name was spelled the same, and they pronounced it Seeley, but I can't say. So I'm imagining she must be on a Scully box here and then later she's also the same height as Jonathan. So, she's not the same height as Nick Brendan.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, absolutely impossible to shoot a scene with this much almost kissing without making that height correction. Like it's you can't do it. You can barely do it when they're the same height. So
the tentative fingy interlacing, just absolutely none of our business.
Yeah, they really like each other, Jenny. And like, has Xander... Here's a question. Has Xander kissed a girl? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just was really thinking about it when he was like looking at her like, oh my God, it's going to happen. I was like, well, we have never heard of an ex of Xander's, and I don't think the mantis ever kissed him. I think the serrated hand really threw off.
Yeah. She just put him right in the cage. Drugged and then right in the cage.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Seth Green sees Willow.
Look at his wow face. He has such a great...
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
face.
He loves her so much right away. Ugh. So we're in Giles's Corleone. We're in Giles Corleone. And Buffy says one day you're going to have to get a grown-up car. LaToya writes in her notes, sadly, this will happen and we will all be devastated.
Yeah, it's not an upgrade.
No, it's really not. Oh, fuck, Jenny, that feeling when your fucking hand remummifies right before you get that kiss.
Just the worst.
This is some Little Mermaid shit, you know?
Yeah, yes.
Fucking quick, before Ursula / Gil undoes the spell. And hey, there's Jonathan on the steps. Right. Jonathan is just like there's a lot of cultural appropriation happening. Actually, I'm going to find in LaToya's notes because she did write something that has to do with this. LaToya writes, just when you think you've seen the worst in a white geisha, some white dude in the background is dressed like a Native American. And I honestly think some chick was simply dressed like a superhero. And the superhero really got me because Jonathan is just straight up maybe dressed as a cowboy. And I'm not sure what he's going for, but I'm just gonna say cowboy, and he just played it safe and went cowboy.
Oh, I think he's doing like a Crocodile Dundee kind of Australian outback thing.
An outback,
because he's got like boots and shorts, and the hat is pinned up on one side.
Okay, got it. Jonathan, so like. You would not think that this boy would be like, hey, I would love to kiss you, but also weren't you maybe with Xander? Good job.
Oh, that feels very much in his character.
Yeah, it's really sweet. All right. So Ampada's going to try to use Jonathan to get her hand back to regular girl form instead of mummy form. Giles is going to go get the seal at the museum while Buffy tries to save Xander from Ampada, who they now know is the mummy. That's the plan. Let's fucking go.
Buffy rolls up on Willow in the bronze. She's like looking for Xander. She finds Willow first. Willow is sort of distractedly decimating a castle that appears to be built out of cantaloupe and is just like stuck all over with tiny flags on toothpicks. Do you remember this trend? I don't know if it's still something you can find readily available, but I feel like it was very popular at this time. Mm-hmm. You could just buy like a little pack of a zillion different countries' flags all on toothpicks.
Yeah. Definitely. I remember it. I also remember the trend of melon balling, you know?
What about melon castling?
Melon sculpting, would you call that? Oh my God. When we watched My So-Called Life most recently for the 30th anniversary, Jenny talked about her Jordan Catalano, who is a chainsaw sculptor.
Sure.
Do you think Walter would be talented at melon sculpting? Which sounds somewhat like none of my business, actually. But yeah. Oh, Jenny. Jenny just cupped her two hands to the screen.
What? I didn't know such thing, and you can't prove it.
I literally can.
I think that Walter can do whatever he sets his mind to.
Wow. This just got so inappropriate.
What?
I'm glad that you thought it was cantaloupe because I meant to go back and look. I thought it was cheese, and I was so relieved to hear that I was wrong and it was cantaloupe. I don't actually know which one of us is right, but let's make it cantaloupe, please.
I'm pretty confident that it's cantaloupe.
Only the mayor would be happy if it was a castle of warm cheese, you know?
Ew. Okay, so Buffy's like, Ampada's the mummy, and Willow's like, oh, good.
What?
But then they rush off to grab Xander because they're like, oh, wait.
Oh,
danger.
My God. Also, we haven't gone too hard on the fucking pan flute in this episode because how much can two girls talk about the inappropriate use of the goddamn pan flute? And we've done it for 50% of our lives at this point. So just know, yeah, we know.
We know.
Fuck the use of the pan flute in this episode.
As they rush off, left in the cloud of their dust, and Oz, who's just desperately trying to say hi, but he doesn't get there in time and can only say, "Who is that girl?"
Oh, Oz. I'm so glad he's going to get a jingle. Over at the museum, Giles is like in his fucking glory, like on the floor of the museum, finding pieces of this seal. He says to himself at one point, holding one piece of the seal, it's paler twin. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but Giles is having the time of his life. But Ampata has made her way back to the museum, and oh God, she shatters the seal into many, many pieces. All that work, Giles, for naught. Buffy and Ampata fight. It's incredible to me that Ampata also has fighting skills. I don't feel like that's part of her chosen one set of skills and what have you, but okay. They're fighting, and Ampata once again put Willow in peril to, again, is kind of like maybe a little hitting it on the head, but we're showing again and again that yes, Xander might not want to date Willow, but Xander will go to task for Willow. That like when push comes to shove, if it's between somebody that he is falling in love with or Willow, he's going to choose Willow. Ampata says she's going to drain her. Xander says absolutely not. If you're going to live, then drain me. Can't do that. Can you? Ampata's like, actually, I can. And you know what? I'm proud of her because she does some math in that moment. And she says, you know what? If the first boy that I met I had feelings for, there's probably another fish in the sea for me. So, you know what? Let's go. And I support that for you, Ampata.
Thankfully, just in the nick of time, Buffy punches her way out of the stone casket she was thrown into.
Jesus Christ.
And then pulls Ampata off of Xander. And unfortunately, this is just, this is like grim, macabre, sad. Like we talked about this with Alba, but it is an unfortunate and disappointing trend on this show to see specifically characters of color being mutilated or desecrated after their death or as part of their killing.
Yep.
Hate to see it. Also not really sure why exactly at this exact moment what's happening is like, is it that she didn't slurp a person fast enough, or is it somehow that like what actually kills Ampata here?
Yeah, like if she had just gone back to mummy form, could she have been revived again? But because they shattered, because shattered, she can't be brought back. Just like, what the fuck? Like, why can't it be that she can still live? Like, why couldn't we just find a way to tell the story where like maybe this 16-year-old girl who just wants a chance to get to live her life gets to fucking live her life?
You know what? I think it would actually be kind of sick if they had found a way to do that, and then it could be actually a stark contrast to Buffy, who is still
the chosen one and has to live under the weight of the world. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyhow, we go back to Sunnydale High. We get a brief exchange between Buffy and Xander about Ampata not being evil to begin with. And they have a little chat, which I found very sweet.
Yeah, Buffy says she was just a girl and she had her life taken away from her. Slayer much?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Mummies, we're not so different. They're just like us. But like, you know, in this instance, actually, like, it's not just for us, the audience, to sort of like be getting this recurring, like, the weight of the world, the chosen one.
Yeah.
But also to see Buffy interfacing with that information and like how she absorbs it, how she views other people who have similar experiences, and like what that means to her.
Yeah. And also like I don't think that Ampada's story was like she wasn't evil to begin with and now she was evil. It's written very black and white like that, which is not accurate. But I do think like also asking the question of like what happens to someone when their life is taken from them. In Ampada's case, it's like literal. But in Buffy's case, like we're drawing a parallel here between like you are 16 years old and you are not able to consistently do the things that are part of growing up as a teenager, you know? And we see like Buffy is missing the dance. She can't really have a fucking boyfriend. More on that later. Like it's just what happens to you and what choices will you make because of that history? And so like, is Ampada choosing to drain the life out of people like an inherently evil thing? Not really. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, when you ask that question about something that you think is just straight up evil, you'll actually find a bunch of shit underneath it of like what got you there. And there's more nuance. There's always more nuance. Generally, this show does a decent job giving us that. This episode doesn't, but you know, onward. Grr.
Well, dare I?
You dare.
Listen, my name is Jenny Owen Youngs. And
when she's not writing about herself in the third person in her show notes.
What the heck? I'm doing music stuff. There are a couple things on the horizon. If you live in my area, in the Seacoast, I'll be playing at Prescott Park in Portsmouth, New Hampshire on August 15th, opening for a wonderful band called Truesdale. And coming this October, I'll be zooping around.
Zooping?
I'll be zooping. You can't stop me. I'll be in Carborough, North Carolina. I'll be in Decatur, Georgia. I'll be in Columbus, Ohio. I'll be in Louisville, Kentucky. And I hope that you'll come see me. You can find all the show details at jennyowenyoungs.com/tour. And you can always give me a shout on socials at Jenny Owen Youngs.
I don't have intel on October in many of those places, but Ohio, I do. And I can tell you what a delightful place to be in the fall.
You love Ohio.
I love Ohio in every season, but I will say that there was a fall a million years ago where I did a talk at Kenyon and Oberlin, and they were like back-to-back talks, and it was in October, and holy shit, it was gorgeous. It really stuck with me. Yeah. I am Kristin Russo, and when I am not dreaming of the fall foliage in Ohio or podcasting with Jenny, I am working with and for LGBTQ plus communities. Of course, it's now July, so I'll be up in the attic until next June. Just kidding. The work is all year round, every year. You can learn more about the work that I do at KristinNoeline.com. That's KristinNoeline. Join me for some really fun queer horror movie watches. Jenny, I put Suspiria on the queer horror movie watch list, and there's a 77 version of Suspiria and a 2018 version of Suspiria.
Oh, yeah.
77 is like, 90 minutes long, you know? The 2018 is 2.5 hours long. And, I famously do not really watch movies when they're longer than 2 hours, but I didn't check. And I was like, oh, God, it was so scary. It was too scary for this person right here. It was terrifying and wild ride. I referred to it as the Bohemian Rhapsody of horror films.
Oh, my God.
After I watched it. Oh, really a wild time. Anyway, find more about that on my website. Not Suspiria specifically, but the Queer Horror Movie Club.
Buffering the Vampire Slayer is on socials at BufferingCast, and you can always email us at hello@bufferingcast.com.
You can support our work on Patreon. We would sincerely love it if you did. We have a lot of fun things happening over in that land, most specifically right now, Summer's Fridays, where we are watching all of season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer together on Friday afternoons, 1 o'clock Eastern time. We watch 2 episodes nearly every Friday this summer, and it has been a delight. But we have some other fun things coming your way for our patrons. So join us, patreon.com/bufferandcast. And hey, we wrote a book. It's called Slayers, Every One of Us. You should get it if you have not already. And hey, many of you actually have. So thank you.
Thanks. This episode was produced by Kristin Russo, Jenny Owen Youngs, and LaToya Ferguson with support from our consultant, Mackenzie McDade. It was edited by John Mark Nelson. And till next time, woo! Well, it's Cultural Exchange Week here at Sunnydale High School. And we're hosting lots of students who come from all over the world. There's a special exhibition down at the Natural History Museum, where they're showing off remains of an Inca princess mummy girl. Yeah, mummies always seem to come with a curse. I never heard of one without. And the Inca princess is no exception. If a seal breaks, the mummy gets out. And if she kisses you, you're gonna wish that you ran. Inca mummy girl, restoring herself anew, sucking the life from you, yeah. Inca mummy girl. Well, Xander and Empata seem to really like each other a lot now. And they're going on a date to the problematic dance at the Bronx. Dingoes Ate My Baby are rocking just as hard as they can now, thanks to a dreamy lead guitarist whose name is apparently Oz. This is inconvenient, but we just found out Empata was the mummy this whole time. Xander's gonna be so totally bummed out, but at least he saved Willow's life. And if she kisses you, you're gonna wish that you ran. Inca mummy girl, restoring herself anew, sucking the life from you, yeah. Inca mummy girl. And if she kisses you, you're gonna wish that you ran. Inca mummy girl, restoring herself anew, sucking the life from you, yeah. Inca mummy girl. Giles worked so hard gluing that plate. Who knows if Xander will ever find a non-homicidal mate? And if she kisses you, you're gonna wish that you ran. Inca mummy girl, restoring herself anew, sucking the life from you, yeah. Inca mummy girl. And if she kisses you, you're gonna wish that you ran. Inca mummy girl, restoring herself anew, sucking the life from you, yeah. Inca mummy girl.
A bop.
Look at that.
A freaking bop. Honestly, what a good time. It's like when it first started, I was like, I'm not sure. What happened here? What did we do here? And then it just got into its groove and it just went. I had a good time.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't remember all of the nooks and crannies, but I definitely remembered that this was a sort of like 50s sort of like sock hoppy kind of like Buddy Holly sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I am delighted to rediscover and if she kisses you, you're gonna wish that you ran. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I celebrate.
The Giles worked so hard gluing that plate bit. Really, what a delightful little moment that I didn't anticipate.
Yep. The Go Wicked High Bridge.
Yeah.
I also I feel like this is all real hallmark of Monster of the Week songs. This is inconvenient, but we just found out Empata was the mummy this whole time.
A lot of, what do you call it when you sort of like wrestle syllables to fit the beat? Like, is there a fucking...
I don't know if there is a word for that.
There should be, because it's really a particular skill, and it's not easy, and you do it really well. But there are a couple of moments in this where you got I think natural history museum. You know what I mean? You just like got it into a rhythm where it would not normally be able to fit in a way that worked. So good job, Jenny Owen Youngs.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad that Ampada at least got this song. You know what I mean?
Oh,
at least if she did not get to live, she got this this little ditty to take with her wherever she went next. Maybe actually breaking maybe the breaking of the mummy freed her in a way that she didn't know she needed to be freed.
Yeah, maybe she's just like chilling in the afterlife, like having a nice time.
Yeah, instead of like stuck inside the mummy that can't, like it's stuck inside the sarcophagus where she can't do anything except for hear and see and not speak.
Gorging on heavenly Twinkies.
Fuck yeah.
I'm Dallas Taylor, host of 20,000 Hertz, a lovingly crafted podcast about the amazing world of sound. From music and video games to science and history, the world of sound is full of great stories. 20,000 Hertz is crafted by a passionate team of professional sound designers, and that means that our episodes will always sound incredible and be jam-packed with ear candy. To unlock your sonic world, follow 20,000 Hertz right here in your podcast player.
I'm Eric Malinsky, and my podcast, Imaginary Worlds, sounds like what if NPR went to Comic-Con and decided that's all they wanted to cover. I've interviewed Scott Snyder, who writes Batman comics. I talked with Mike Marino, who did the makeup design for the Batman film and the Penguin TV series. I also interviewed Michael Wilkinson, who designed the Batsuit and other costumes for the Zack Snyder DC films. You can listen to Imaginary Worlds wherever you get your podcasts.